welcome to the first episode of Watch Up. I am Simran Bhui and this is Marika Gabriel. Today we have a very special guest with us.
At 12, she realized her passion.
At 17, she made her debut.
At 18, she was honored with the Arjuna Award.
At 19, she won the Padma Shri and was also one of Time's top 50 heroes of Asia.
At 21, she received the prestigious honorary degree of Doctor of Letters.
At 23, she was one of Economic Times' 33 women who made India proud.
She is Hyderabad's very own Sania Mirza.
It's going to be more than a decade of brilliance in tennis, but there's more to her than just the rackets.
She is a businesswoman, a philanthropist and a teacher.
She is a phenomenon. She is Padma Shri Sania Mirza.
It is an absolute honor and privilege to have you with us today. You are an exceptional sporting legend.
Sania, you won the Padma Shri at 19, is it?
Yes, I think I was 19, yeah.
Marika, how old are you?
Almost 19? You?
19.
Feeling a little useless?
Pretty much.
Well, you were one of the youngest at the time to receive this award, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, unfortunately, I wasn't here. I wasn't in the country to receive the award. So my mother actually received the Arjuna Award and the Padma Shri for me because I was playing somewhere. But it was a great honor. Of course, I hear of people who are, close to 60, 70 years old who are receiving that award today. And I think that it's one of the highest honors of the country. And I feel very, very lucky to have received it so early in my life.
You said in an interview once that fame made me withdraw myself, which was mistaken and misinterpreted for arrogance. Having grown up under the constant glare of the media, how constructive or destructive do you think the media can be?
I think that one of the things when I was growing up was that the media was growing with me. I think that the electronic media especially was growing with me, and I think they were kind of discovering themselves as well. And then here there was this 16, 17-year-old girl who had an opinion about most things in life, and and who wasn't scared to share their opinion. And I think that was taken in a lot of good ways, but in some bad ways. But we're a country of 1 billion people. It's tough to please everyone, and that's something that I can accept today, 10 years into my career and in my life. But I think that as women celebrities, we cannot be very open about ourselves and about our lives to everyone and that we meet. So I think that you need to have that certain, you need to be a little reserved, and that's what it was, and it was as simple as that. Maybe it came off as arrogant, but I definitely think that kept a few bad people away from me.
All right, fair enough. Well, we're all looking forward to your autobiography. Two of my personal favorite sports persons' autobiographies have been Sunny Days by Sunil Gavaskar and Andrew Flintoff's Being Flintoff. The thing with both of them is that one wrote it during their peak, whereas one wrote it much after. You're writing it during. India and the world, I assume in general, believe that you have a lot to offer when it comes to international tennis even now. So don't you think that writing it now would prevent a lot of other great memories to be written and for fans to
No,
read?
you can always have a volume 2. I mean, that doesn't stop you from having, 2 books. But I think that I've been fortunate enough, like I said, to have been in the media and I've grown up in the media since I was 16 years old. And I think that a lot has been said and done about me and about my family and about many things, whether personal or professional. But there was never clarification from me directly. I mean, even when I told a reporter, it was always from his point of view. It was never from mine. And I think that after 10 years of being the #1 tennis player of the country, I do owe it at least to myself and to my family to set a few things straight. And that's basically the reason that we are writing this autobiography. And I think that like I said, I hope there'll be another volume, which means that there'll be a lot more that'll happen in my life that'll be worth writing about.
For
Will
sure.
we get to know a few secrets?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of stuff in there which not many people know, and it's a lot to do with the real me and who I am as a person. And at heart, at the end of the day, I still want to go home and put on my TV and sit in my pajamas and eat chocolate and watch. So it's just I think that people tend to forget that as celebrities we're normal human beings as well, and especially in this part of the world where celebrities are treated as larger than life figures, and I think that they almost feel that we can never make mistakes, but we do as well, and we also have feelings, and I think that's what the whole book will have, is everything that I feel and have felt.
I'm looking forward to it. In a country deprived of women role models, you climb the docket constantly because of your impeccable game and a style quotient of the highest order. You were treated like a Bollywood star. At just the age of 18, you were under the limelight, the media was all over you. So do you think growing up in this light changed you as a person at all? Did you...
Yes and no. I mean, I think that, like I said, it made me a little bit more reserved in terms of the way I approach people, and when people approach me, it made me a little bit more cautious because, you know, after I became famous, which was at a very young age, all kinds of people were my relatives suddenly, and, you know, things like that happen, and so you almost try and, you know, even the genuine ones, you almost want to try and, you know, magnify them a little too much. So, but I do think that it made me grow as a human being that I wanted to be. You know, it made me grow as a very strong woman. You know, I was fighting against the odds all my life, whether it was to play tennis or whatever it was. So I think that today the person that I owe it to my career, and I owe it to tennis, and I think that everything comes with pros and cons, and so does fame, and if you're accepting the pros of it, you got to accept the cons, and you know, that's what I think 10 years, when I'm 27, I can accept that better than when I was 17.
Among all the things that have led you to fame and success, what is one thing that you'd attribute your success to?
Definitely my family. I think that without them, it was not just difficult, it was impossible. You know, as much as tennis is an individual sport, it's very much a team sport in terms of your family support and your friends and your team that travels with you, your coaches and your physios. And I think that without my parents backing, at times when I was really young, when I was 8-9 years old, my sister was only about 2 because we have a big age difference, and you know, she had to be left alone. My mother used to come with me, and you know, as a 2-year-old, if at that point you know, my mother wouldn't have come with me, who knows, I would have never, you know, played tennis, because as an 8 or 9-year-old, I couldn't be on the road by myself, and so, you know, there are those sacrifices that you make as a family, and I think we were fortunate enough, you know, and I feel very fortunate to come out of 1 billion people to do what I have done, and as a family, I think they have supported me, and they continue to support me in all my decisions in life.
If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
I'm a little too impatient. I think that I want to be a bit more patient. In life in general, I just have been, and it's getting worse with my age, so that's something I'd like to change.
Well, next topic, Sania Mirza Tennis Academy. What was the thought behind that?
Tennis is all we know. You know, tennis is all I know, and I've been playing tennis for 21 years now, and we've been fortunate, like I said, I can't say it enough, but how fortunate we've been, but we've been fortunate enough to play at the highest level, and obviously have the experience of knowing what it takes to get there, and being the woman that has done it. I'd love to share it with everyone, and I've been asked this question for over a decade now, who after me, and always come up blank, and I think that I finally thought, okay, we have to do something about this. We can't always go up, and when the media asks you who after you, and you come up with a blank answer. So hopefully, you know, in the next 5-6 years, I won't come up blank, and there will be another person who you can say is a potential or is playing at the highest level. And
have you seen anybody in your academy who you think can be the next Sania Mirza?
Look, it's too early, you know. I mean, if there's someone who needs to come out of the academy, it needs to be someone who's from a next generation, which is, you know, 5 or 6-year-olds who are starting off now. But I do believe that tennis has grown so much in the last 10 years. I mean, I think that we have become a very popular sport. You know, people know what tennis is. People, when I used to play, they used to ask me, when I said I played tennis, they used to ask me, is that table tennis? So, you know, and they had no clue, and today they do. So every match is covered, and so I think that I hope that there's someone from that academy, but even if not, if there are people who are already playing and are at the next generation, which is, you know, the 15, 16, 17-year-olds, I'm more than happy to help as a family. That's what the academy is for it to be a base for people to not have that excuse that America is too far or too expensive to go, or Europe's too far, too expensive to go. It's the best academy in the country right now, and I hope that people make full use of it. I wish I had it when I was younger.
With an inspiration like you, I'm sure they will.
We are a country full of people who love their stars. So in these 10 years that you've been playing, what is the single most touching thing that a fan has ever done for you or said to you?
There's been many. I mean, it's tough. We get so many letters at home every day. There's been some freaky fans as well, who kind of borderline stalkers. But there have been very, very touching letters. There was one letter that I particularly remember was, there's actually a few, but there was this kid who was dying of cancer, and he was in the last stages, and he wrote me a letter. He was, I think, about 10 or 11 years old, and he said, my only wish was to actually take a picture with you before I die, but since I can't come there because I probably will be dead by the time this letter reaches you, or by the time you respond, I want this signed postcard, with my picture on it. And to me, those are the moments that that make it very special, that make everything worth it. And so there have been many instances like that, and so yeah, it was very emotional at the time.
Well, if you hadn't become a tennis star, what profession would you have chosen and why?
I don't know. I went through phases. I wanted to be a doctor at one point because I think that I was following the norm of everyone, saying that every girl should become a doctor or or.
I heard you were a very good student.
I was all right, yeah. I mean, I don't know about very good, but I was all right. I did like studying a lot. I tried to go to college. I'd finished my 12th. I tried to go to college for about a year and a half, which was normal college, because I was adamant that no, you can do tennis and you can do college together, and I can be a normal person and do all that. And then I had to choose between going and writing my exams or going to Wimbledon. So I chose Wimbledon at that point. And then I was majoring in psychology. So I did psychology for a year and a half, which I'm still interested in. So I went through phases, and then I wanted to be an interior decorator at some point. But now that I think about it, I don't think I know anything better than tennis, and I'm glad that I chose this.
So who's your all-time favorite doubles partner?
My all-time favorite doubles partner. Me and Kara just started playing together, and we have an undefeated record yet. So that's definitely, she's definitely up there. I think it's unfair to name one, but I've played with one of my best friends on the tour and off the tour, is Bethany Maddock, and she unfortunately got injured, but we had a lot of fun together playing. So I think that every partnership has been special, and obviously the ones that are successful are more special than the ones that are not, but then sometimes you strike a great friendship, and so I've been fortunate to have good people and good partners in my life.
All right, and is there any tennis star that you would like to be paired with but haven't got the chance yet?
Yeah, Steffi Graf, but I don't think I'll get a chance because she retired when I came on tour, and so yeah, her. She's someone that I've admired all my life, and she's one of my inspirations to playing tennis. But yeah, I never got a chance to play. I met her, and I was absolutely starstruck, and so I was just like a little girl, and when I couldn't say a word, I couldn't get a sentence out of my mouth. But yeah,
shows how humble stars can be as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're normal people, and we have normal feelings, and we also feel embarrassed and shy and all those other things, angry sometimes.
All right.
Who is your favorite sports person?
Favorite sports person? There's a few. I think definitely Sachin's up there. There's Usain Bolt, Michael Phelps. I think that Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal. I think the people that have achieved so much in sport, it's tough to pick one out of all of them. So I think that these guys are legends, and they've done so much for their respective sports that they got to be favorites.
Okay, now hypothetical scenario. If you had the chance to play against a legend, which legend would you love to play against?
And win.
And win.
I'd love to play Steffi. I think that I've been fortunate to play against Navratilova, and I've been fortunate enough to beat Martina Hingis. But I think that Steffi Graf is someone that, I know that I'll never have a chance to play against her in a competitive match, and so I'd love to play against her.
What's your advice to get more women to come out and play sports, to try their hand at something they could never have thought of?
I think that the world is changing and India is changing, and it has come a long way since when I was 6 and wanted to play Wimbledon one day, and people used to make fun of us saying, you actually think someone from Hyderabad is going to play Wimbledon? Are you crazy? She's getting dark, no one's going to marry her, all kinds of things. But today that doesn't happen as much, I feel. But I think that still, I think people or parents or families feel a little weird to put their kids into a sport, their girls into a sport, because they think it's a boyish thing to do, or it's or that our culture doesn't allow us to do certain things like that. And I think that you have to understand that the world is moving forward, and the only message I have for the families is that I think there's no difference between a guy and a girl to start with, and I think that's the most important lesson. And secondly, I think as a girl, the things you can achieve sometimes are far greater than a guy can achieve, whether that's in sport or in life. And I think that if the girl wants to play tennis, you let her play tennis. If she wants to be a doctor, let her be a doctor, but let her do what she wants to do and what she loves, and don't force what you think on her.
Well, on a personal note, what do you think India's requirement is right now when it comes to women? Because we know the current scenario of women is degrading in the country. Just want to know, being a woman celebrity, what your opinion on this is?
On women, or on the scenario on women?
Requires.
I think I think equality is something that we require. Like I said just now, I think that equality, I think until, yes, the men have to start behaving and start accepting that we are equal, but more so I think the women need to start accepting that we are equal, because I don't think the women, and here I'm not talking about you and me, I'm talking about the masses, and I'm talking about the rural India, where women themselves don't have the confidence and they don't feel that they're supposed to be equal. And hence, when I came out when I was 17 and had an opinion about things, I was labeled a rebel because of the fact that I had an opinion. It wasn't. It was just that I spoke like I was a person, not a man or a woman. And I think that is something that we need to accept and change. And as women, we need to do that, of course. But I think that guys need to do that too and accept that,
You can be as good as them?
No, I don't think there needs to be a comparison. I think that it should be a person. It should not be a woman or a man.
Right. Your threshold of pain is very high. You've been injured several times and you've had surgeries 3 times, I think.
Yes.
And you yourself said that in your mind, your career had ended in 2010, but you bounced back. In how?
Well, basically what she's trying to ask you is, how difficult is it to be a sports person, especially a woman's person?
No, I think that being a sports person, forget women or men, playing sport at the highest level, especially a sport like tennis, where it's extremely, I mean, you're punishing your bodies every day, and tennis is probably the most global sport in the world, and with 200 countries competing, you can't do anything less than that if you want to be at the top. And I think that still even today, we've come back from practice just now, and we have a 5-hour, 6-hour training session every day, and we come back, and so the fact is that it's very, very difficult on the bodies. And I have a condition in my body which not many people know, which is a form of arthritis, and so that's why every morning I wake up with new joint pains that I don't know of. And that's the reason because I have a lot of laxity in my joints, which means that well, let's not get into medical stuff, but I do have laxity in my joints, and because of which I get more injured than normal, because all my joints are not really in the right place all the time.
Now, Sania, we're going to play a short game called First Thought with you. We say a word, and the first word that comes to your head on hearing that word is what you tell us.
All right.
Don't take too much time.
Shall we begin? All right. Ice cream.
I don't like it.
Amli.
Everything.
High heels.
I have way too many.
Bollywood.
Love watching.
Federer.
Legend.
Food.
Love eating.
Cartoons.
Used to really like them, but still love Tom and Jerry.
Friends.
The program or real friends?
Up to you.
Both.
Very, very important.
Sorrow.
Part of everyone's life.
Charity.
Should never be told of if you've done it or not.
Relaxing.
I don't get too much of that.
Early morning.
Hate them.
Shopping.
Obsessed.
Black.
Favorite color.
Music.
Not obsessed, but really like it.
Spa.
Mm.
I think
That's all.
an
That's my
in
answer.
itself. Workouts.
Part of my job.
Bundys.
Bundys, Chinese.
Ink to change.
Great initiative by my great sister.
Well, that's about it for the rapid fire. Well, we have with us a small memento, a small ink bottle that we'd love for you to sign. Thank you so much, Sania, for coming
Thank
and
you.
talking to
Pleasure.
us. Stay tuned for more episodes on www.inktochange.com.